morning, everyone. It's Cindy from Beyond the House. We haven't spoken for a while, so we thought we'd just shoot a little video to let you guys know what's going on in the garden center. We are still fully stocked. We have been very busy. We've been bringing in shipments, several shipments a week, and it's been great because there's been the constant turnover of plants and lots of beautiful new product that came in. Last week we received all of our great hibiscus plants, so I don't think there's a variety that we don't have. And they're in beautiful 3-gallon format. Very beautiful plant, great to add to the garden for an August bloom. We also got in tons of echinacea, tons of rudbeckia, these beautiful lilies. We've never had this one before. It's called Buzzer. The color on it is spectacular. There's Buzzer, and then this guy here is Crimson Pixie. What a beautiful plant. It's great to add to your garden for bloom at this time. People ask me, it's like, well, what's blooming right now? You know, it's definitely the lilies, iris, nepeta. We have some nepeta left. There's Walker's Low. There's Kitten Around, Cat's Pajamas. So these guys are pretty cool. They add a great big splash. One thing to know about nepeta, they bloom profusely. And then people complain about the tendency for them to flop. Just shear them back and they'll grow right back, and you'll usually get another flush of bloom later on. So you can always extend the season. Just come in and ask our staff how to extend the life of any perennial, and you'd be amazed at what you can get out of it. If you're a good little gardener and deadhead, then you can definitely extend things. Shrubs, trees, beautiful selection still. We're getting another shipment tomorrow. I believe some catalpa are coming in, which is something that people have been asking for. Some more emerald cedars and stuff like that. More hydrangeas, Annabelles and that, and all the other paniculatas. So, beautiful selection of dianthus, and some funky alliums. We've got Pink Planet this week, which in my mind there's nothing better in the garden than an allium. They give you a fall bloom, usually, well, fall being August, September or July, August. And the foliage is always great, nothing touches them, and they just always look really cool, and they get this beautiful little pom-pom kind of flower. Pink Planet is a pink flower, Millennium has a purple flower, it's a green foliage, and then you get, this is Blue Eddy, it has a twisty foliage, and it gets a purpley flower as well. So, lots of fun stuff there. Echinacea, Shastas are this way. Very cool selection in the Shastas. Get the frilly ones, get the regular ones, get the short ones, get the tall ones. Every color of echinacea. They've come out with so many new varieties of the echinaceas. We have the tried and trues, the Magnus, the Powell Wild Berry, the Ruby Star. Those are the standard pinks. And then you get into all the other myriad of colors. You know, there's some like Granada Gold I have in my garden at home I just absolutely love. The Sombrero series is really good. Playful Meadow Mama. Cheyenne Sky has been Spirit has been a really popular one. It's got different colored flowers on the exact same plant, so that's always cool to see. And I didn't believe it when I ordered it the first time a few years ago, and sure enough, the plant actually has different colors, so lots of fun there. What else is blooming in the garden? Your Stella d'Oro daylilies have started. So we have a really nice selection of daylilies. As you can see, there's some Stellas here. We have some Roseanne geraniums, which are currently in bloom in the garden. The Gaillardia, nice series of Gaillardias available. And the Campanula have started blooming as well in the garden. It's a funny year this year because of the weather. It seems like everything wants to bloom at once. My echinacea are in full bud right now, so I'm not sure if we're going to have a shortened season or not. So definitely start looking for the fall stuff, you know, if you're worried about that. And when you purchase perennials, look at the foliage too. You know, just because something's not in bloom in the garden center, talk to the staff and we can help you find something that's going to extend the life of your garden and make sure that you don't only buy what's in bloom in the garden center. Because it's tricky, you know, where suppliers will push things in the greenhouse and that offsets the actual bloom time. So you want to make sure that you talk to one of us and we'll help you design your garden and come up with the best year-round garden. And of course, we always introduce, you know, in my mind, every garden needs to have at least 30% of evergreens in it. So we have some funky conifers. I'm a big fan of the dwarf conifers. We have some beautiful hydrangea standards in stock. dogwood, you name it, cedars, everything there. These are all our daylilies. We have some coreopsis, beautiful iris. These just popped open this past weekend.
Those are spectacular.
Oh my God, they're so pretty. I walked in yesterday and just went, oh! I had a day off yesterday and I came in to pick up some plants for my garden, and they're so pretty. So that's ruffled velvet. They're all ready to pop at this time. In the shade section, we have, you name it for hostas, astilbe, gelenia. Now this is a cool plant, way underutilized. My suppliers, I don't know, I think the last time he grew it was maybe 5 years ago. It's almost a woodland plant. It's like eastern exposure, it doesn't want full sun, but it can take morning sun, and it's just this big puff ball of white. Very pretty. Great foliage year round and very pretty at this time of year. Russian sage is about ready to pop open, and I find even in the gardens right now Russian sage is ready to pop, which seems early to me. Maybe times are just going by too fast. I'm missing it all. Lots of different colors of veronicas. Veronicas are a great perennial. You know, if you deadhead them, they'll keep blooming all through the summer. You just have to be a good little gardener that's there to deadhead often. But even if you don't deadhead, they still give you quite a long season of bloom. People ask me, it's like, well, how long will the plant bloom? It really depends on the amount of moisture we have. It depends on the heat. I had some peonies that popped open when we had that crazy heat wave in May, and they didn't last very long, but I had another one that was a later bloomer, and it still has a few flowers on it. So my mom's old peony as well is still blooming. So it just really depends on the variety and the timing of the bloom and the amount of heat we have, and water. Water is important. Joe Pye weed. This is a dwarf baby Joe Pye weed. Way underutilized plant. What a fantastic addition to the late summer garden. They pop. They create this cloud effect of beautiful pinkish purpley flowers.
And the butterflies love them.
The butterflies absolutely love them. The caterpillars love them as well, so you will get some damage to the foliage in the spring. Ignore it. It will go away. The plant outgrows it, and then after that they bloom profusely, and they're really nice. Persicaria, this is one plant that we get asked about a lot. It's giant fleece flower. It gets about 4 feet tall by 4 feet wide. We have it at the entrance to the garden center, so it's a great, it goes in full sun, it goes in part shade. Full shade would probably make it a little bit floppy, but in part shade it's excellent. And a really big statement piece. And it blooms all summer. It stays fantastic all summer, and we just cut off the flowers come the end of August. And it almost gives you this effect of like a hydrangea that's blooming all summer. So very good plant, great perennial. This is another way underutilized plant. This is called Macadamia. So it's not, this is it for the summer foliage, but in the fall it turns this beautiful red. I love this plant because in the spring it pops out with some white flowers that come out of the ground on their own, and you'll see some of the foliage peeking through. So you get this little tuft of white flowers in the springtime. Great ground cover that just kind of nestles to the ground, not tall. And then after that it turns this great red in the fall. So I look at plants as being, how many points can I give it? You know, I give it points for flowers, I give it points for fruit, I give it points for great foliage, what it looks like in the spring, in the summer, in the fall. And this one is a go-to for me. This is another big time go-to for me. It's Thalictrum, Rushburnianum. And it says it goes about 5 feet tall, and for some reason at my house it's easily hitting a good 8-9 feet tall. I don't know why, my supplier doesn't know why, but it is so spectacular because it gets all these really pretty purple flowers on top. The foliage is very nice. It does make babies in my garden, but I'm absolutely okay with it. Not a big plant at the base, only about 1.5 feet wide. And I have mine right in front of a fir, so when I wake up in the morning and I look outside, that's what I see, these flowers dancing up above, and it just shows beautifully against the fir. So love this guy. Really nice heucheras. I have at home, I don't know if I have any left, probably, yeah, this one here, Pink Fizz. So heucherellas bloom earlier than the heucheras. Pink Fizz has been blooming for over a month in my garden. It says it goes full sun to part shade. Last year I tried out a mass planting on the top of my waterfall in full sun, and it has outperformed any other perennial I've had yet this year. So I'm very pleased with that. And the heucheras, if you want to add fantastic foliage to your garden, I used to not be that much of a fan of the flowers, and then one day I drove into my entrance and there were hummingbirds in there. So I now leave the flowers up, even if they're not my favorite. I love the pink ones. I didn't love the white ones as much, but now I leave them there because the hummingbirds need food too. So it's kind of fun to see all the wildlife that comes. Lots of hostas, astilbe. Astilbe are just coming into play right now, so just know with the astilbe, if you find that your astilbes don't work, it's 99% of the time it's a lack of moisture. So we actually have some astilbe in full sun, but we water them every day. In general, we put them in a shadier location so that they don't need as much water, but if you plant under big trees that have big tree roots that take up all the moisture from the garden, know that you will have to supplement water with for them in order to get them to perform the way you want them to. Otherwise, they just kind of shrink away and they're not going to give you much of anything. But very nice plant when they're in the right location. Oh, I got to talk about this guy. This one I'm looking forward to trying out. It's called a heuchera Grand Black. So we have Grand Black, we have Grand Amethyst, and these are big heucheras. Usually heucheras, I plan on them being about a foot wide. This guy's 28 inches wide and about 18 inches tall. So this is a great plant to have to contrast. You know, if you have a blue hosta next to something like that, anything variegated, this is going to be a great pop in the shade garden. People always wonder about, it's like, oh, what can I put in the shade? You know, I need some flowers and that, but sometimes just playing with texture, playing with foliage is going to give you exactly what you need without having to worry too much about all the blooms. And then the other one that we all have in our gardens, this one is called Aurelia Sun King. Big perennial. It actually looks like a shrub, but it dies down to the ground every year, and it gets about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide. And it tolerates full shade. It also goes in the sun, but in the sun it needs the right amount of moisture. So this guy is a very cool plant. If you want to pop something like that in next to hostas and that, it definitely has a show. So that's about what we're going to cover today. As you can see, we have great trees available as well. And in honor of Father's Day, we're keeping them at 20% off till the end of day Sunday of next weekend. So our trees will be on sale, and actually not Sunday, is it Sunday or Friday?
Sunday.
Sunday, okay. So trees, all your trees and evergreen trees as well will be on sale for one more week at 20% off. We do have our plant of the week is going to be the phlox. We should go take a look at our phlox. So we have a beautiful selection of phlox available at the moment. Every week we're starting this up again. We've done it every year where we have a perennial plant of the week and we pick a plant that's in its prime. Absolutely fantastic. The fragrance here is incredible right now. And we put it at 20% off just so that you get to have, you know, something that's absolutely fantastic and a little treat at the same time. So this week all the phlox will be 20% off. We have delphinium, we have a slew of perennial grasses. So if there's anything you're looking for that you can't see, please mention it to us and we'll see if we can find it for you. But I do believe at this point in time we are fully loaded. I can't think of anything that we don't currently have, except for Annabelle hydrangeas, which are coming tomorrow. All right, enjoy your gardening day today and we'll talk to you soon.